Tell us about Leica. What sets you apart from other animation houses?
Leica is a independent animation studio based in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. We tell bold, distinctive, and enduring stories, and the way we do that is by a combination of kind of old school handcrafted artistry and cutting edge technology. And so we fuse stop motion animation with hand drawn animation and CG animation and cutting edge visual effects in a way that's very, very unique in the industry. We make films unlike anybody else.
And how long have you been around?
Leica was formed in 2005, so we've been around for, do the math, 8 years. And we've done 2 films in that time, Coraline in 2009, Paranorman last year, and then now the Boxtrolls coming out in 2014.
So what's the origin of Boxtrolls? How does the project begin? Can you walk us through the steps?
Sure. It started with a book, a piece of literature. I came across this book by a British author named Alan Snow, who wrote a book called Here Be Monsters about 10 years ago. And it was this really strange and beautiful tale. It was kind of weird and interesting and grand, and but it had kind of whispers of kind of the great classic children's literature. It was kind of this strange fusion of Charles Dickens intermingling with Monty Python and Roald Dahl. And so it had a really interesting point of view and personality, different characters and fantastic worlds in a way that I thought was reminiscent of the great kind of stories that I loved growing up and the kinds of stories that I didn't see on the screen a lot anymore. And so that was the start of it. We worked with Alan to develop the book into a film, but it was difficult because it's a over 500-page novel, and you got to distill all that down to a 90-minute film, which is an incredible challenge to have it all kind of make sense and be true to the essence of the book, but also have a personal point of view that has something compelling to say. So, that process takes years, and then we begin the process of storyboarding, designing the characters, and that whole process of production takes about 3 years. And so we've been working on this thing a good long while, and it was a challenge to bring to life, but I'm extraordinarily happy with the way it's developing.
So you write it, then you create the characters, and then the actors, the casting?
Yeah, you design it, you design all the characters, you sculpt the characters out of clay, you sew the costumes out of real cloth, you build the world out of wood and other materials, and then while you're doing that, you record the voice actors giving life to the performance in the script. And we do that before we do any animation because the voice actor provides the inspiration for the animator. Whatever choices the voice actor will make in the recording booth is something that the animator will listen to and try to get ideas for how they will bring the character to life physically through the puppet. And so that's where it all starts. And then, all those things have echoes and ramifications throughout the entire process. At the core of it, deciding who these characters are these extraordinary actors that we work with.
That's interesting. So you're giving the actors a whole lot of range.
Yeah, and it's because the process is so long. It takes a good 2 years to shoot one of these things. Often we'll record actors multiple times throughout the process, and the biggest challenge there is if you're working with young actors is that their voices change and evolve. They actually physically mature over the course of the filming, and so you try to find ways that you can actually integrate that into the process. So maybe by later in the film, you're doing some of the later records, so you can have the sense that the character has kind of matured over the course of the journey. Early on in the film, they may sound a little bit younger. With adult actors, you don't have that issue because their voices pretty much stay the same. But they bring so much unique invention and personality to these roles, things that we couldn't anticipate even when we're developing and writing the story. It really does just give us a new prism into who these characters are and how their stories can lay out.
Give us an idea of the scope of this enterprise here. I mean, you have how many stages are we looking at here?
There are about 50 some odd units that we're shooting animation on, and we typically have about 2 sets per animator. So an animator will be shooting on one set while we're prepping another set for him. So the animator will will finish the shot and then move on to another set. Animators tend to kind of own chunks of the film, work on entire sequences, really get immersed in what the sequence is about, and we found that gives just better performance. They really clearly understand the kind of the arc and the emotional bent of that part of the story, and they really get immersed in it. And because of that, I think these characters have distinct personalities that you can see coming out of the animation on the screen. But it's a big shop. I think that this place, The whole facility occupies about 3.5 acres, and everything from wood shops to metal shops to design labs to sound stages to places where we're shooting the whole thing. It's a big facility with a lot of stuff going on within it.